bet you're wondering what our technique sheets are all about. Well, let me fill in the blanks here. Our technique sheets are single-page how-to instruction sheets that in some instances will give you another technique for a tool that we might have on the market, or sometimes it will give you instructions on how to create something that is new and unique without one of our tools. Each of the technique sheets is heavily laminated. It has 3 hole punches in it so that you're going to be able to store them and collect them. At the upper right-hand edge of each of the sheets, there is a little tab that alerts you to whether or not it is tool associated. It also gives you a rating as far as the difficulty. Is it 1, 2, or 3 stars for difficulty? Each of the technique sheets has highlighted hints and tips from Deb. Many of the technique sheets have charts associated with them that are going to allow you to do things in lots of different sizes. Many of them have ideas, not specific projects, but ideas of things that you can do with the different projects that you create or the different units that you create. Right now we have 4 on the market. Let me tell you about the 4 that we have. The first one, the easiest of the batch, is called Little Houses. You can see it in the quilt behind me. It's a way to make what we call a little house unit, a little bit larger than it needs to be, and then use the squared tool to trim it down to size. One of the other technique sheets that we have is called the Shaded 4-patch. The Shaded 4-patch is the unit that you see in this little table runner here. It is a unit that has a square, 2 small triangles, and a larger triangle, and it can actually be made with strip piecing. That's what's really fun. You'll make the unit with my size squares a little bigger than it needs to be, and then use the tucker trimmer to clean it up and trim it down so that every single unit is exactly the right size and shape. One of the standalone technique sheet that we have is called Migrating Geese. The Migrating Geese technique sheet shows me how to create these wonderful rows of staggered geese. It allows me to create them in a number of different sizes, from 3-inch to 12-inch sizes. It recommends the Quilter's Magic Wand because it's a precision piecing technique. The last technique sheet is called Pickets and Quickets. And if you're not familiar with what I call a picket or a quicket, in this little table runner here, you can see the shape that is here. It's a rectangle that has a triangle in the corner, is what I would call a picket fence. And if I had them all the same, that would be my picket fences. But if I have them in mirror images, that's what I call a quicket. And I've developed a great new technique that you can learn about on the back of the Pickets and Quickets sheet that allows you to make those units with 2 simple squares, 1 big and 1 small. Each of the technique sheet includes hints and tips that I've learned along the way, along with charts that give you various different size options, and in many instances, I'm going to give you some ideas of some things that you can make. Not a project and not a pattern per se, but some ideas of ways that you can use the different units. The technique sheets are available at your local quilt shop or on our website, and we're always coming up with new technique sheets. So you may want to consider signing up for our newsletter so that you will be the first to know.